20 years of podcasting and sharing music on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, show number 719. Welcome to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, helping you celebrate Celtic culture through music for 20 years. I am Mark Gunn. I'm a Celtic musician and also host of Folk Songs and Stories, but this podcast is for fans of Celtic music. We are here to build a diverse Celtic community and help the incredible artists who so generously share their music with you. If you hear music you love, please email the artists. Let them know you heard them on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. Musicians depend on your generosity to release new music, so please find a way to support them. Buy a CD, album pen, shirt, digital download, or join their community on Patreon. We've been doing it for 20 years and it helps. It really does help. So you can find a link to all the artists in the show notes along with show times when you visit our website at CelticMusicPodcast.com or send an email to follow@bestcelticmusic.net. You'll learn how to subscribe and you'll get a free music-only episode. You'll also learn how to get your band played on the podcast and get a free ebook called Celtic Musician's Guide to Digital Music. All right, so on July 28th, 2005, I released the very first episode of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. It was not my first podcast. There were 4 others that preceded it. All of them are still available to this day, though one of them has pod faded since. Now, when I started, I was publishing the Celtic Music magazine every week. I started that in 2000. I think it was December of 2000. I started podcasting to promote Celtic bands, but mostly I wanted to promote my own band, the Brobdingnagian Bards. It was a new and exciting way to get my music heard, but something happened along the way. It became less and less about my band and more about how I could help bands be heard, and it worked. In fact, just in that 2005, I featured a total of 79 Celtic bands from, July until December. That includes the Brobdingnagian Bards and my Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers project, but there was just a lot of music. And here's some of the bands who were featured that first year. Dust Rhinos, Fathom, the Border Collies, Stone Ring, Hugh Morrison, McTullamore, the Bloody Irish Boys, Vicki, Swan and Jonny Dyer, the Barley Boys, Bow Triplets, Michael Murphy and the River Shannon Band, the Rogues, Irish Experience, Avalon Rising, Emerald Rose, Heather Dale, Serious Kitchen, Empty Hats, Ed Miller, Tullamore, Cantiga, Katie Finlayson, Black 47, Sligo Rags, 3 Pints Gone, The Tea Merchants, E.J. Jones, Fluke, Paul McAdam, The Elders, and Tear for Beers, Clandestine, and lots more. You can see the full list on the website for this episode. Many of the artists are no longer performing. What's more interesting, though, is that about a quarter of these artists are still making new music to this day, which just is incredible. So they're still making music after 20 years. Today, I will highlight some of the amazing Celtic bands that are still performing after 15 to 20 years. A reason I'll tell you about why that is. I actually started my list with 3 perennial favorites who've been on the show for a long time and are still performing. Ed Miller, of course, who is in that list above. Poitín out of the Czech Republic. And, of course, the Gothard sisters. Admittedly, the Gothard sisters were a really late addition to the show. They came on in 2010. But of all the bands, they are, to me, sort of like a shining beacon of this podcast, because you can see them grow and develop as musicians and songwriters over the course of this podcast. So I felt like I had to include them in this 20th anniversary episode. And that's the reason I kicked off the show with the Gothard sisters. That was Against the Grain. It's from their album Midnight Sun, and they are currently working on a new album. So stay tuned for that. But I love the music those ladies make, and I'm excited to share the new music when it comes out. Hopefully later this year, it might be next. Let's get on with the show, though. We are going to go on with Hail to the Heroes by Albannach. This is from their album The Sub-Zero Sessions. Here you go. my fields, it took a toll. I never imagined I'd leave my home. I climb this mountain, I feel alone. The ring is gone, I hope you know. I'm coming home. I wish I hadn't gone to Rome. I'm coming home, but this is the path that I chose. I'm coming home. Each step forward I reach my goal. I'm coming home. You are my reason, my rose. I'm coming home. I left the Shire, never turned around. My friends needed me, so they didn't drown. Like the earth, I till the ground. I may be small, but I won't back down. I'm coming home. I wish I hadn't gone to Rome. I'm coming home, but this is the path that I chose. I'm coming home. Each step forward I reach my goal. I'm coming home. You are my reason, my rose. I'm coming home. I stand on the cliff, it's as dark as night. I fend off monsters with all my might. Your memory is Arendel's light. When this is done, I know that I'm coming home. I wish I hadn't gone to Rome. I'm coming home, but this is the path that I chose. I'm coming home. Each step forward I reach my goal. I'm coming home. You are my reason, my rose. I'm coming home. I wish I hadn't gone to Rome. I'm coming home, but this is the path that I chose. I'm coming home. Each step forward I reach my goal. I'm coming home. You are my reason, my rose. I'm coming home.
Please awake, my love. Open up your eyes. Your truth is encircled with thorns, and only you know where it lies. Cursed from the start, blessed at the end. Your childhood was pierced through the heart, with your innocence lost as its men. Your city still dreams, your people still breathe. All is not as it currently seems, for you still have your will to be queen. Please awake, my love. Open up your eyes. Your truth is encircled with thorns, and only you know where it lies. Once long ago, you cast a smile. It caught me and kept me in tow on this path that I've traveled a while. I conquered my fear, and I braved the way. I stand ready to break this veneer and then welcome you to a new day. Please awake, my love. Open up your eyes. Your truth is encircled with thorns, and only you know where it lies. Oh. Your fire is bright. Your heart has a beat. Your dreams must arise from the nightmares of which only you can defeat. The dragon is dead. I find myself here. Your beauty asleep on a bed, and with naught but my kiss and a tear. Please awake, my love. Open up your eyes. Your truth is encircled with thorns, and only you know where it lies. Please awake now, my love. Open up your
After Albannach, that is my band, the Brobdingnagian Bards with I'm Coming Home. It's from a new album we're getting ready to release. It's called Another Faire to Remember. I guess this puts our band at about 26 years of creating new music and performing. So, woohoo! After the Brobdingnagian Bards came the Drowsy Lads with 7/8 Final Answer from their album Everyone In. They, of course, are a new addition to the podcast, but they, too, have been performing for over 20 years. Alexander James Adam was after that with Please Awake. That's from his album Harvest Season, Second Cutting. And we finished up the set with Poitín, Mother and Child. It's from their album One for the Road. I want your feedback. What are you doing today while listening to the podcast? You can send a picture of what you're doing while listening. Is there a new Celtic CD or Celtic band that you heard of or saw? Send a picture. Email follow@bestcelticmusic.net. Kim commented on a Patreon post from the Celts of Pride Month number 712 episode. Love the new compositions for bagpipes. Yes, me too. I really enjoyed that. Joseph Linehan emailed, I hope this email finds you well. I am with the AML Trio, a hard-strumming, foot-stomping Celtic folk trio from the Oregon coast. We recently released our debut album, Sons of the Erin's Isle, and are looking for sites to review our very first CD release. The band has become popular in the Pacific Northwest at the Oregon Renaissance Fair, Bellingham, Washington Scottish Gathering, the Utah Highland Games, Oregon Celtic Festival, and more. The full album is available to listen to free of charge on all the digital platforms, including Bandcamp, and if you'd like to get a copy of the CD, you can get that there as well. Thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing. And obviously, if you want your music on this podcast, make sure you complete the permission form at 4celts.com. That's the number 4celts.com. Or again, send an email, follow@bestcelticmusic.net. That has all the details. Woodland Folk wrote a quote, "Do not tell the priest our plight, for he would call it a sin. But we've been up in the wood all night, a conjuring summer in. Oak and ash and thorn, Kipling." Thank you so much for sharing that picture as well, Woodland Folk. I always appreciate it. Thank you. James Cavages emailed, looking for a song that you played back in the 2000s about a miner who was digging coal and was stealing the devil's heart, later became a museum tour guide, and he would believe in Jesus if he was standing behind him in a Union picket line. Heard it while I was in Japan. Now I can remember it. Thanks for all the great work you have done and are doing. You are very welcome, James. And that track was by Ed Miller. The song is called The Prince of Darkness. It's from his album Lolander, and let's play it. Here's Ed Miller.
I was born in the village of Kenzie, and my father was an elder of the kirk. And on the day I turned 13, he looked me in the eye and told me it was time I was in work. For employment was the way to beat the devil, and I must challenge him wherever he was found. But if I wanted decent pay, there were 5 different ways: north, south, east, west or down. I used to battle with the Prince of Darkness. I used to steal away his heart through a 4-foot seam. And when they asked if I was poor, I'd tell them I sure. But they never had to teach me how to dream. Oh, the first time I went under I was shaken. I was just a laddie frightened of the dark. But with a cutter in my hands, I soon became a man. I was surely never frightened of the work. I learned to listen for the creaking of the timbers, to watch the air in the candle flame. And on every sweated turn I knew how many risks were run, and the danger was a miner's middle name. I used to battle with the Prince of Darkness. I used to steal away his heart through a 4-foot seam. And when they asked if I was poor, I'd tell them I sure. But they never had to teach me how to dream. I went in at Newton Grange and Kirkcaldy, sweating blood for 7 bob a week. And in the shuttle and the cage I learned the spirit of the age from men who never turned the other cheek. And when my father asked if I was still for Jesus, was he my help and my saviour down the mine, I said I'd bow my head in prayer if I turned and found him there at my shoulder on a Union picket line. I used to battle with the Prince of Darkness. I used to steal away his heart through a 4-foot seam. And when they asked if I was poor, I'd tell them aye sure. But they never had to teach me how to dream. Now I work in the mining museum, show the tourists what my job used to be. And when they ask about my clan, I tell them I'm a working man, and the union is clan enough for me. It gave me brothers fae the red and tae the ronda, comrades fae the Rockies tae the Rand. For there's nae colour, creed or race when you're sweating at the face wi' a pick or a shovel in your hand. I used to battle with the Prince of Darkness. I used to steal away his heart through a 4-foot seam. And when they asked if I was poor, I'd tell them aye sure. But they never had to teach me how to dream. And now we've a government in London, and the new Labour Party's won the day. And they come back to find their roots in their sharp Italian suits. And when the cameras are gone, so are they. And they whisper that socialism's dying. You can't sell it at the supermarket till. But while there's 50 left like me, we'll make bloody sure they see that ideas are the hardest things to kill. I used to battle with the Prince of Darkness. I used to steal away his heart through a 4-foot seam. And when they asked if I was poor, I tell them aye sure. But they never had to teach me how to dream.
of the Cowdnails. Fain would I be in my old country, herding my father's yams. Hard fate that I should banish to be gone from hill and moor, because I love the fairest land that ever yet was born. How blithe each morn was I to see my love come over the hill. He tripped the burn and ran to me, and I met him with goodwill. Oh, the broom, the bonny, bonny broom, broom of the Cowdnails. Fain would I be in my old country, herding my father's yams. Oh, the broom, the bonny, bonny broom, broom of the Cowdnails. Fain would I be in my old country, herding my father's yams. Farewell, ye Cowdnails, farewell. Farewell, all pleasures there. To wander by his side again is all I crave or care. Oh, the broom, the bonny, bonny broom, broom of the Cowdnails. Fain would I be in my old country, herding my father's yams. Oh, the broom, the bonny, bonny broom, broom of the Cowdnails. Fain would I be in my old country, herding my father's yams, herding my father's yams, herding my father's yams, herding my father's yams, herding my father's yams.
sweet July, before the sun had pierced the sky, 'twas in between the rigs of rye I saw twa lovers talking. Now the lads is lassie, I must away. I have no longer time to stay, but I've a word or two to say. In your time to tarry. Now you'll fade the road, ye tax good care, and your mother combs down your yellow hair. But your sister said you'll get in a share if you go with me, a stranger. Let my father fret, let my mother frown. My sister's words I do disown, though they were dead and below the ground. I would go with you, a stranger. Now the lads is lassie, your fortune's small, and maybe it will be nain at all. You're no match for me at all. Go and waste your love on another. Now the lassie's courage began to fail. Her rosy cheeks, they grew wan and pale, and the tears come trickling down like hail, or a heavy shower in the summer. Now he's ta'en his handkerchief linen fine, he's dried her cheeks and he's kissed her een, saying, Lassie, lassie, ye shall be mine, for I said it all to try ye. Now the laddie be in no courage home, a laddie scarce 19 years old. It ranged the hills and the valleys all, and he's ta'en his lassie well. He's ranged the hills and the valleys all, and he's ta'en his lassie well.
After Ed Miller came Matt and Shannon Heaton with Buried My Wife and Danced on Her Grave, Paddy Fahey's and Ahern's Egg. It's from their album Whirring Wings, and they too have been playing music since their early 90s at least. Then came Heather Dale with Bonnie Bonnie Broom from My Celtic Heart, and I've been following her for over 20 years. So she was in episode number 4. But of course, I found her when she was on mp3.com. After Heather Dale came Sharon Shannon with Butterflies from Out the Gap. And we finish up the set with Wolf Loescher and Mark Kenneth with Rigs Awry from their album Loescher+Kenneth. And Wolf Loescher is an artist that I've been following for well over 20 years too. He took a long break and is now playing solo, as well as with other Celtic musicians. And I love his work. He has a new album out. Make sure you check it out. And while you're checking things out, want to wear your love of Celtic music? Then check out our album pens. These are striking lapel pens inspired by our official podcast compilations featuring some of the best Celtic bands we've ever had on the show. Each pen comes with a digital download of the album, so you get great music and great style as well. You can get all the details at magerecords.com. And if you're a musician, I have a blog so you can find out all about what is an album pen. it has revolutionized my personal band music business, and I think it could do the same for you. So go check it out. All right, Vicki, Swan, and Jonny Dyer. So they were in a group called Serious Kitchen back on mp3.com. That's how I found them initially, but I've had so much fun enjoying their music for over the years. Nick Hennessy went his separate way, and Vicki, Swan, and Jonny Dyer have been performing as a duo ever since, and they are spectacular. This is the private still from their album Red House.
Gagey came to Dublin town one time when I was there. He fancied that a private still was being built somewhere. He met me on a street one day, he fancied that I knew. Good day to you, young Pat, me lad, and how do you do? Good day to you, young Pat, me lad, and how do you do? I'm pretty well, your honour, but allow for me to say I don't know you at all. Said he, perhaps you may. I'm off to search for something here, assist me if you will. Here's £50 if you can show where there's a private still. Here's £50 if you can show where there's a private still. Give me the £50, said I, in faith I surely can. You have my word, you may depend, for I'm an honest man. The £50 he then laid down, I pocketed the fee. Oh, button up your coat, said I, and come along with me. Oh, button up your coat, said I, and come along with me. As soon as we were in the car, he said, now tell me, Pat, where is that blessed private still? Don't take me for a flat. A flat, your honour, no, said I, but heed me if you will. And I at once will show you where there is a private still. And I at once will show you where there is a private still. In just a minute now, said I, the barracks close at hand. And if you look right through the gate, you'll see and hear the band. And when the band's done playing, you'll see the soldiers drill. Oh, never mind the soldier's boy, where is the private still? Oh, never mind the soldier's boy, where is the private still? In just a second now, said I, I'll point him out to you. See, there he is, that fat old chap, right between those two. What is that you say, said he, said I, my brother Bill. They won't make him a corporal, so he's a private still. They won't make him a corporal, so he's a private still. The gauger swore and tore his hair and tried to grab his cash. But I jumped on the car myself and bolted in a flash. And as he walked along the road so sore against his will, the people shouted, exciseman, oh where's your private still? The people shouted, exciseman, oh where's your private still?
All among the bars
the drinking and the crack. If you're looking for some quiet, it's not the place to try it. For anything goes at Donovan's pub, you'll have to watch your back. The minister and the priest, their throats they like to grease, drinking Irish whiskey till they're feeling in the pink. But come Sunday morning, from their pulpits they'll be warning, repent ye sinners all, give up the devil drink.
They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe.
The sisters venture in for their tonic and their gin. They pour into cups thinking no one's going to see. Each evening out of habit, except upon the Sabbath, they're dancing with the devil as they drink the demon tea.
They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe.
Was near to being a goner when his wife caught him kissing up the maid behind the bar. She howled a mighty shout, and she kicked him all about, and she threatened that she'd pickle both his jewels in a jar.
They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe.
Sweet Annie from Aherne, she runs the only brothel. She's lovely for to look at, but she's crafty and she's sly. She idly drinks her wine, but there's business on her mind. Will you come into me parlour, said the spider to the fly.
They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe.
There's a perverted Billy, he likes to show his willy to all the lovely ladies, it's an act that he denies. But people here don't care, for you see, he is the mayor. Besides, sure, he does a decent job otherwise.
They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe. They're pushing and they're shouting and they're cursing and they're fighting. I've seen it all myself, they put on a hell of a show. There's little doubt the devil will think it quiet and civil. Any night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe. Every night at Donovan's pub, down in Ballinasloe.
After Vicki, Swan, and Johnny Dyer came the Merry Wives of Windsor with All Among the Barley from Drink This Pub Dry. Haven't had them on the show in a long time, but they're still performing 20 years later. Then came Anne Roos with Roslyn Castle and the Woods of Kilmurray from A Light in the Forest. The Irish Rovers, well, they've been performing a lot longer than 20 years. That was Donovan's Pub in Ballinasloe from No End in Sight. And we finished up the set with Haggis Rampant with Pikeman's March, Battle of Waterloo, and Lord Lovett's Lament from their album Tree. And of course, I found them at the Louisiana Renaissance Festival when I first played there over 20 years ago. So thank you so much, patrons of the podcast. Because of your generous support, the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast releases new episodes nearly every single week. Your support doesn't just fund the show, it fuels a movement. It helps us share the magic of Celtic music with thousands of new listeners and grow a global community of music lovers. Your contributions pay for everything behind the scenes. Audio engineering, stunning graphics, weekly issues of the Celtic Music magazine, show promotion, and most importantly, buying the music we feature from indie Celtic artists. And if you're not yet a patron, you're missing out. Patrons get early access to episodes, music-only editions, free MP3 downloads, exclusive stories and artist interviews, and a vote in the Celtic Top 20. Join us today and keep the music alive and vibrant and independent. A special thanks to our Celtic legends who pledged $30 or more per month. Thank you to Dave D., Roy Bruce, Daniel Ide, Brian McReynolds, Marty Myers, Alan Schindler, Margreta Silverstone, Emma Bartholomew, Dan McDade, Jeff, Gerald F. Boyle, Miranda Nelson, Nancy Barnett, Kevin Long, Gary R. Hook, Linda McNeil, John Sharkey White II, Kelly Garrett, Mike Schock, Annie Lorkowski, and Sean Kelly. Here is your 3-step plan to support the podcast. Number 1, go to our Patreon page. Number 2, decide how much you want to pledge every month. $4, $12, $30, or become an underwriter of the podcast and get highlighted every week for just $100. Number 3, keep listening to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast to celebrate Celtic culture through music. You can become a generous patron of the podcast on Patreon at songhenge.com. And also make sure you check out my Celtic Invasion vacations. Next year, we're going to Galicia in Spain, but you can find all the details at celticinvasion.com. We're going to rock up this final set of the podcast, starting with Reilly. This is the Hunting Dogs from Dirty Pool.
The hunting dogs are coming on the trail with the dawn, they're howling. The hunting dogs are coming on, hunters with their arrows drawn are coming. Now's the time to face the fight, hold your ground in morning light defending. Victory with sword and shield to the end, there is still yield no ending. A fight never ending.
tougher than steel. A moonlighting cop and an ex-Navy SEAL. There's only one thing that'll give him a scare. It's running into the girls when they're out on the tear.
If you bedlam and mayhem and mischief in mind, the worst and the vandals and Vikings combined, they put fear in the hearts of the stoutest of men. God help us, this girl's night in Galway again.
Well, we'd hope for a quiet chat down at the pub, but it's bachelorette night at the old Roos+Kenneth. 20 stout lads hiding back in the loo, afraid for the lives of what the ladies might do. Done up for the night in the rouge and mascara, high leather boots and a plastic tiara, sipping on Cosmos and vodka with lime. And then it's Red Bull and Jaeger bombs 2 at a time.
If you bedlam and mayhem and mischief in mind, the worst and the vandals and Vikings combined, they put fear in the hearts of the stoutest of men. God help us, this girl's night in Galway again.
Descend on the band, hear the lead singer's mind from his trembling hand, falling into the amps and the drums with the crash. Well, now they put your Bon Jovi and poor Johnny Cash. At the disco they're practicing moves and gyrations. In some foreign countries would be violations. Some gullible lads thought they'd try for a dance. Sure, like lambs to the slaughter they had in a chance.
If you bedlam and mayhem and mischief in mind, the worst and the vandals and Vikings combined, they put fear in the hearts of the stoutest of men. God help us, this girl's night in Galway again.
Now as the sun rises up at 5:15, the city of Galway has somehow survived. We'll come out of hiding when the ruckus dies down, till next week when the girls will be back on the town.
If you bedlam and mayhem and mischief in mind, the worst and the vandals and Vikings combined, they put fear in the hearts of the stoutest of men. God help us, this girl's night in Galway again.
tonight. Oh, baby, I'm leaving here tonight. summer day is done, and the radio's calling out, it's sending me back home. Take me to your island, won't you feel me in your soul? Take me in your garden, girl, with the summer breeze so warm. Take you in my arms, little girl, and I'm holding you so tight. And I'm coming back to New York City, I'm leaving here tonight. Oh baby, I'm leaving here tonight. Oh, I'm leaving here tonight. Said, I'll be leaving here tonight. Said, I'll be leaving here tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some friends of mine in a public house were playing dominoes one night. When into the room the barman came, his face all chalky white. What's up, said Brown? Have you seen a ghost, or have you seen her on Mariah? Well, beyond the Ryrie buckets it be, the bloody pub's on fire. On fire, said Brown. Oh, what a bit of luck, everybody follow me. Down to the Zero, the fire's not there, we'll have a rare old spree. So we went down after good old Brown, the booze we could not miss. We weren't there 5 minutes or more till we were all half pissed. Well, there's Brown, upside down, lapping out the whiskey off the floor. Blues, blues, the firemen cried when they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all wrapped up. Somebody shouted like a siren. We all got blue blonde hair that it broke when the old drunk gal on fire. Then Smith went over to the portman tub, gave it a few hard knocks, started taking off his pantaloons, likewise his shoes and socks. Hold on, sit down, we can't have that, you can't do that in here. Double washing your trottles in the port wine tub, we got this Bud Light beer. And there was Brown, upside down, lapping up a whiskey off the floor. Blues, blues, the firemen cried when they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all wrapped up. Somebody shouted McIntyre. We all got blue blind paralytic drunk when the old gun got on fire. Just then there came an awful crash, half the bloody roof gave way. We were drowned in the fireman's hose till we were going to stay. So we got some tacks and some old wet sacks and we nailed ourselves inside. And we sat there swallowing pints of stout till we were bleary-eyed.
Can't see a thing.
And there was Brown, upside down, lapping up the whiskey off the floor. Blues, blues, the firemen cried when they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all wrapped up. Somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue blind paralytic drunk when the old gun gal got fire. And we all got blue blind paralytic drunk when the old gun gal got fire.
Your vines that blow by Barden's Grove, will I never see you more? blows and the violet grows and the trout and salmon play. With my line and hook, delight I took to spend my youthful days. She might say, to see if she'd take pity on me, lest I might go away. She said, I'm love an Irish lad, and he was my only joy. And ever since I saw his face, I've loved that soldier boy. Sailing over the sea of Maine, or perhaps he is gone with some other love, and you may never see his face again. Well, if my Irish lad is lost, he's the one I do adore, and 7 years I will wait for him by the bank of the Murloc shore. Farewell to the foggy hill, where the linen weds thy bleaching silk, and the Poitín stream runs still. Near there I spend my youthful days, but alas, they are no more. For cruelty has banished me far away from the Murloc shore.
After Reilly came Gaelic Storm with Girls' Night in Galway from their album Matching Sweaters. Then the Canny Brothers Band with Take Me from the Guinness Situation. Stout Pounders was after that with Old Dun Cow from Poor Decisions. And we finished up the set with Ockham's Razor. That was Morlock Shores from Garnet. And all of these bands have been performing for 15, 20 plus years. They're just amazing. And even though not all of them were on the podcast when it started, just wow. It's incredible that, especially bands, individual musicians is one thing, but a band still performing 20 years later is pretty dang impressive. So All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you vote in the Celtic Top 20 for 2025. This is our way of finding the best songs and artists each year. You can vote for as many songs and tunes that inspire you in each episode. Your vote helps me create this year's Best Celtic Music of 2025 episode. You have just 3 weeks to vote this year, so cast your vote right now. I hope you enjoyed this 20-year celebration, and let's all raise a glass to salute the podcast for another 20 years. If you're up for it, I'm going to be here. So stick around, tell a friend, share it, and we're going to finish up the set with the Rogues. This is the Warriors Salute. It's from their album 25 and Live. I'll be back next week. Sláinte.
Thank you for your service.
The Irish and Celtic Music Podcast is produced by Mark Gunn, the Celtfather, and our patrons on Patreon. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Miranda Nelson Designs. Visit our website to follow the show. You'll find a link to all the artists played in this episode. Todd Wiley is the editor of the Celtic Music Magazine. Subscribe to get 34 Celtic MP3s for free, plus you'll get 7 weekly news items about what's happening with Celtic music and culture online. Best of all, you will connect with your Celtic heritage. Please tell one friend about the podcast. Word of mouth is the absolute best way to support any creative endeavor. Finally, remember, our planet's future is in our hands. The overwhelming evidence shows that human activity is driving climate change, from record-breaking heat waves, flooding, to rising sea levels. But the good news, we have the power to fix it. Every choice we make, reducing waste, conserving energy, supporting clean energy, lobbying our political leaders, it all moves us towards a more stable climate. You've heard that phrase, refuse, reduce, reuse. Think about that in terms of climate. You can refuse plastic bags. You can reduce how much plastic we put into the world. We can do that with all the energy out there. So please start a conversation today. The facts are out there and the future is ours to shape. Promote Celtic culture through music at CelticMusicPodcast.com.